Hey everyone, this is the real Theo Harvey, and
The real Mr. Benja, or just Mr. Benja.
hey everyone, we're super excited about this episode. We went in deep, deep, deep on Star Wars because guess what? It's May the 4th day, Star Wars Day, guys. And so we talked a little bit about our love of the series, shows, prequels, and some things we didn't like about it as well. We also talked a little bit and did some thoughts on what's happening with movies in general. FOMO versus fandom. Oh man, what side do you land on? We'll talk to you more about that. Mr. Benja, what else did we talk about this episode?
I don't know. Is this Grogu and the Mandalorian movie gonna do what we think it is? It's supposed to be out next year. No one's talking about it like they should. We discussed that a little bit, and just some general Star Wars, where things are at right now. It's a continually evolving tale, so don't have too much to say about it.
Well, everyone, if you want to know more, we also did our comment section. So please continue to comment in the below to let us know what you're thinking. Guess what? Your comment will or may get featured in a future episode. So continue to do that. And we did some trailers like we always do, right? So we're doing a new thing too. This is show versus business. So we're going to give you our grades on the trailers, what it said it's going to do from a business side, get you motivated to go see it, pay money to go see it, and why. And the show side, is it interesting enough? Is the content pulling you in? So we're going to start doing that in future installments. So be on the lookout for that. All right, Mr. Benja, I'm super excited, man. You ready?
Let's do it.
This is Show versus Business, where pop culture meets pop money. We host the real Theo Harvey and Mr. Benja. So, Mr. Benja, how was your week?
It was going great until you didn't let me do my side of the intro. What happened, baby? I thought it was gonna be like, I'm the real Theo Harvey and I'm Mr. Benja. But yes, I'm Mr. Benja here with Theo Harvey, and I'm doing pretty good, my man.
You just did it. Gotta remind me, man. Gotta remind me. So,
Oh, we keep it
man,
popping, we keep it flowing. It's all good.
man, how was your week, man?
Oh man, I got really angry this week, but sometimes I'm a hater, so sometimes I like getting angry. And gave me a new, breath of fresh air. Went outside, just breathed in, breathed out, and was like, man, I got something here. Because the past couple of years, I've been getting in touch with my negative emotions, my dark side, if you will, right? I was sitting in my hyperbolic meditation chamber like Vader. It took me a couple of years to get it together, but it works now. And the back to tank too. It's great. Totally recommend. 10 of 10. Don't use Joe Rogan's float tank. Get a back to tank. But yeah, man, some things really, really unnerved me, got me just really upset, and I was so upset that I went back to one of my journals and started flipping through it, and I was like, no, I've been through this before. Where was it? I just wanted to see what my old self was saying, and I looked in the notes, and my old self was saying the exact same thing, like, this MFer did this. Oh my God. How did they? Why would they? Oh. And I was like, you know what? I've grown past that now. They're just doing their thing. I'm like this. I've got my red kyber crystals over here. I'm going to go slash something and be good with it. And I'm happy. So I was able to just decide and go forth. Not that the dark side took over, but I just channeled it. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, wow. Any insight into, was it a person that made you angry? Was it a situation? Was it
No, it was a recurring it was a situation that had recurred in my life that made me, and my first instinct was to blame it on the person instead of realizing, like, no, I have been here before. There's something about me that is reacting to something out there that's happening, and I'm reacting in this way. Let me stop. Remember that, your emotions and feelings are pretty much just signals, right? They're, a set of inputs happens and these things go off, and all of a sudden some part of your emotional system goes, all right, pull the alarm. Anger, anger, anger. And it's like, man, now I'm angry. So I calmly went back into the room and was like, hey, why is this blaring? Well, this and this happened. Okay, we can turn the alarm off now. Let's calm down. And yeah, it was a recurring situation, but with different people. slightly. Yeah, different people involved, but it was the same feeling in me. And I realized, like, you know what? That's just something I need to deal with. I don't need to get mad at that. Not that it didn't happen, not that it's invalid. The alarm was valid. But now that the alarm has gone off multiple times, I'm like, you know what? This alarm has happened. I should handle it this way. Let me put the energy into pushing this change, into adjusting myself, making changes, you know. Um, I'm not going to get caught up by some Jedi flipping over me while he's down in the pit. I've got the high ground. I can't just let some Jedi flip out of the pit and over me and cut me in half. I can't let that happen again. You know, so I've got to learn from these things.
Oh man. Well, I love it, man. Yeah, and looking inward and going on that journey is so important. So I commend you on doing that and learning from your past and not, you know, doing the same situation or feeling not feeling, but you're gonna feel the way you feel, but just reacting to it differently, which is always important. So commend you on that, Mr. Benja. Also, if you guys couldn't tell with all the Star Wars references, we will be celebrating May the Fourth Day, also known as Star Wars Day, May the Fourth here in the United States, and so we may get we'll pepper a lot of Star Wars minutia in our conversation today, as you can tell from behind me with little Millennium Falcon and Darth Vader behind me there. I'm a big Star Wars guy, and Mr. Benja has Hoff behind him, I'm assuming. And he
Yes,
actually
yes,
was a part of a large podcast that went deep into Star Wars a couple of years back. So yeah, we know a little Star Wars, so don't add us, but we know enough to get by. So you'll see some references throughout this session today, this podcast. But man, no, thank you for sharing that, Mr. Benja, and I appreciate you, kind of figuring out ways around that. I was kind of in a similar situation. This week was long and hard. I had to come up with a big presentation
hmm
and didn't know where to begin. Basically had to kind of build it from scratch, from the design, to the actual wording of it. So it was a lot. And on top of my day job of just running the business day to day stuff and people pinging me fire alarm, it was just a lot. And then also dealing with my family situation. Basically the kids and just hanging out. So it was just a lot going on. And
yeah, yeah.
one of the big things, just my dog, he passed away we were talking about The Wire. We've
hmm
had that dog for over 17 years, and we named him Stringer, as in Stringer Bell from The Wire. And
Huh.
so we've had him for a long time. He just recently we had to move on. He got kind of really sick and just couldn't walk anymore. And so, my wife made the decision to kind of put him down on Monday. So that was kind of emotional for the family. So just dealing with a lot this week, just ups and downs
Yeah,
of family stuff and work stuff. So I'm just grinding, man, grinding. And I'm just telling myself, all I can do is all I can do, right? All I can do is all I can do. And
yeah,
so I had put myself as a treat that I was gonna go say, okay, I'm gonna go see the Thunderbolts movie right on Friday. I'm gonna be super excited to go see that right Friday. Well, come to find out, my father's birthday is on Friday, but everybody wanted to meet earlier than normal. We usually like to meet at night, but they wanted to meet early for a happy hour event. So I had to like cancel my Friday Friday Thunderbolts movie viewing. So I was kind of disappointed in that. And so I said, well, you know what? Why not go see on Thursday? I still got work going on Friday, but this would be a little breather. So I
yeah.
pushed myself and I got a lot of work done. I was like, oh, I'm just doing this. I'm just doing this. I said, you know what? I'm going to see this movie. And yeah, it was late and I had to get out to like midnight, but I was glad I did because Friday, yes, there was a lot to do, but I was like, man, I needed that little break, a little breather, where I, could kind of get my mind off everything else and just kind of, be transported into the MCU and this foolishness. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, man, it was definitely not saying Thunderbolt saved me, a
Yeah,
Thunderbolts asterisk, but
yeah.
it allowed me to, get out of my day to day situation and kind of transport me for a little bit. So thank you,
Okay.
MCU. Thank you, Kevin Feige.
Let's talk about that next week. Get into Thunderbolts a little bit next week. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, yeah, I think we should. I mean, some interesting things. Thunderbolts asterisk. So I wanted
Yeah,
to give you more context around what I thought about, what it helped me do this week as well. So
yeah.
yeah, so a lot going on, man.
All right. Well, yeah, definitely. I know off air we talk a lot about spirituality, um, intellect, and emotion. I put all those in different categories. And when I really get down to Star Wars, there's a lot of the spiritual element that people really, I think they used to talk about, but they don't talk about as much anymore. And they're purely looking at it at like a story fan thing. I wonder where a lot of that spirituality kind of went. I think it's just maybe it's part of the times, where people aren't thinking about that as much. I guess in the 70s and coming off that time period, everybody was a little more spiritual, just hippies in California and all kinds of people doing stuff in New York and LA and being hippified or whatever. Yeah, it's kind of different now, but Star Wars still reigns supreme, right?
Yeah, definitely, man. It's one of those things that just brings joy. I mean, I think I think it's a nostalgia for everybody. Strangely enough, right? I mean, I remember seeing Empire Strikes Back. That was like the first big movie I saw, and it had to be what 8, when it came out. And so I just remember seeing, I always talk about this memory at in Hoff, and just like, what is this?
Yeah.
And so that's just
Well,
a memory that soared into. I mean, we obviously came late because
yeah.
we missed a whole part at the beginning of the movie. So, but I just remember that, and
Yeah.
that's like the earliest movie experience I ever remember. That and Superman, weirdly enough. But I was just like, man, and ever since then, my life was driven. I mean, I started to like space because of Star Wars. Got
Hmm. Yeah.
interested in science and engineering. So, but it's not just for me and you, right? It's just like a whole generation of people like us, but also
Huh.
for
Yeah.
filmmakers. We talked about this. We think every modern filmmaker has a Star Wars in them, right? And
Yeah.
and then now we got these prequels that has a whole generation. That these movies came out 20 years ago. These folks are older now, and they're
Yeah.
introducing their kids to the movies, and that's their Star Wars. So it's just weird, man. It's just yeah, it's just huge, man. I don't yeah, it's one of those things.
Oh, that's cool, man. Um, you want to keep on going, get into some comments, and then
Let's keep it
continue
going,
on?
brother.
Cool. All right. Well, we got our comment corner. Always checking out what people are saying. We like hearing from you guys and talking to you guys, learning from you guys. If you ever see us mess up anything or don't put out the entire story or whatever, please flame us in the comments. Let us know what's going on with you. Um, we'll delete your comment if we don't like you, but most comments stay up. All right. First of all, we saw the hymn trailer, and Marskin said the fact that it was on the blacklist at first lets me know it was a whole bunch in Hollywood and probably sports world that didn't want this movie to be made. It's going to be interesting. Football player doing whatever it takes to get that sports fame. Yeah, that's definitely true. That whole we touched on that, the selling your soul to the devil kind of thing that's involved with a lot of sports and that dedication that it takes. Whatever it takes to get there. It's definitely going to be interesting. But that is a point I don't think we brought up. We knew, but we don't think we brought up. It was on a blacklist, and people just didn't want to hear about it. Theo, this apparently was floating around Hollywood for a while. Um, why would the powers not want to have this movie come out?
I mean, do we have to say a name like Colin Kaepernick?
Uh oh.
That was, you know, a football player that basically just kneeled down during the national anthem and basically never worked again after that. And so, the
Yeah.
football is like, was it church? Family and football,
Hmm.
right? God, faith, and football. So, or God, family, and faith, family, and football. That's how you say it: faith, family, and football. So I think, yeah, man, it's you don't touch football, and so when you kind of mix it in there, where the sacrifices are, people are fascinated by these superheroes that go out and get their basically brains and bodies smashed up every Sunday, but we don't really want to know what goes into that, right? What goes on behind the scenes. Just put the painkiller in me. I don't care if it's falling off my knee. just go ahead and do it. I get back out there. Or stories of guys ripping the little tips of their pinkies off, right, of their pinky fingers off.
Yeah, yeah.
Back in there.
Yeah, real quick. That's what actually let me know in my childhood how serious football was when that happened to Ronnie Lott. Real quick, I just looked it up. I want to repeat this story. Ronnie Lott famously had the tip of his left finger amputated after suffering an injury during the 1985 season. Injury occurred when he tackled somebody and his pinky got crushed. So a bone graft surgery was deemed too risky and would have prevented him from playing in the season. So he opted for amputation and was like, hey, amputate that thing. I'm going to keep playing. And most people wouldn't have done that. And he actually later on expressed regret for it. But hey, man, when you're out there in the field and you're doing your thing and you're in the mix, it's that blazing glory. Someone's like, hey, man, you going to do it or not? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Crazy.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
mean, it's just so when you ask why the powers that be would the blacklist of those that don't know is just a top list every year of the screenplays that never got produced into movies, right? That show up, and so there could be various reasons for that. Sometimes these movies can never be produced because they're crazy. There's like one called Black Balls 3000 or something. If you ever read it, it's the funniest thing you ever read, but it would never get done. It's because it's very profane. It just goes in on everybody, but they did it. The writers that did it, they did it just to show that how good they could write, right? And so it's just one of those things where, but if you get on the blacklist as a screenplay, it may get made, it may never get made, but it's usually something preventing it. And you're right. The story of how the pain and suffering and sacrifice that goes into becoming a top football player. I think people want to open that kimono, but it's going to be hard, man, because sometimes when you open it, it's just like, do you really want to know how the sausage is made? I don't know if people want to do that. So, not saying that people got to sell their souls to be a great football player, but I don't know. You're selling something to get to that next level. So, and
Yeah.
this movie looks like it's
Yeah.
getting, and that's the genius appeal. I never thought about that, but this is perfectly fodder for a horror film, like in the sports world. So I'm like, dang, I wish I had thought
You
about
know,
that.
if you put a little sprinkle a little horror on it, it makes it seem not so real. It's
Mm,
it's real, and you know what they're talking about, but it's kind of wrapped in this. Hey, it's supposed to be scary. It's horror, rah.
yeah,
So you can kind of pull back from reality just a little bit.
yeah.
So
So
I'm glad to hear that.
yeah, so
Uh,
yeah. Thank you for the comment.
and we don't have to discuss this one, but Soul IW said, "I'm so excited for this movie. I co-sign anything Peele's involved with. His vision is unlike any director producers out now." Yes. So um, I'm actually looking forward to this next era of interesting cinema. It may not be big and bombastic because that time may have passed, but still a lot of good things to go zone out in theaters and see. And French Toast for Life. Thanks for sticking with us, man. We got Predator Badlands here. We That was the Predator Badlands was the live action one. A little earlier we did the animated one, but this is the live action one that people were talking about. And French Toast for Life says, "Hi, both guys. I noticed that Predator stole Kratos' weapon, the Blades of Chaos, from God of War. Just imagine Predator becoming the God of War. Epic dope, sick bros. LOL, I can't believe Predator will hunt down RIP to Kratos. Damn. Yes, that's pure fan fire right there. And I left out a lot of the emojis and all that because how do you say emojis? Um, yeah, man. I see. This is one thing I wonder with Predator. How corny and outside the box and realm of seriousness do you want to take it? Because you can go to silly places, like we were talking about. Predator goes to Manhattan, and when he ends up there, it's like some Bruce Willis Die Hard character, somebody in New York. Pick somebody, I don't know. And it's like you can get really corny with it. So with video game properties, movie properties, et cetera, you could just there's so much you could do that would just be bad or good. Hey, we're going to be talking about Dwayne the Rock Johnson later. What about bringing back, like, what was that movie? Rampage.
Hmm.
Big monster. Predator versus the Rampage monsters.
Wow, I forgot about that movie, man. Did Dwayne the Rock Johnson bring back the video game movie before Mario
Before
Brothers?
Jumanji?
Well, Jumanji was never a video
Oh,
game; it
no,
was a
that
board
was not,
game,
yeah, that was a
quote
game movie.
unquote.
But yeah.
Well, it was a fake game that they made into a real board game. But I'm talking about Rampage was a video game. Remember, I know, of course, playing that
Hmm.
in the arcade. So that was at the rumblings of this whole great video game entertainment complex we're experiencing right now. So once again, The Rock, he's right in the center of it all. So but yeah, my thoughts on this one. Yeah, I mean, I didn't play God of War. I heard it was a great game. I'm sure I think you played, right? But my biggest thing would be yeah, man. I think I saw actually the Badlands in the theater with a rest of a crowd, and the reaction when the Predator shows up was almost amusement because it was like, because if you remember the trailer, they don't show the Predator until the very end, so you don't know what kind of character you're following, right? In this new version of the Predator, and I don't know if it's awe or is it just questioning, but it was some laughter. So I'm curious to see how it's going to take an audience to make a predator, a protagonist, if you will. So we'll see.
Yeah. Uh, Predator. I wonder how long Predator is going to go on. This
Yeah, man. To the
this
day,
movie could decide their fate.
no, these IPs will never die, man. I'm telling you, Mr. Benja.
Oh
Our
yeah.
grandkids, our great grandkids will be talking about Star Wars. We know that. That's just what it is. This will
Some
outlive George Lucas.
some old guy's going to be talking to his kid. You don't know the Predator? Let me get my Blu-ray. You know.
I
Oh,
mean,
oh,
we'll
granddad.
talk about Star Wars and other
Yeah.
fan thing, but I'm thinking about, yes, man, there is some fandom that goes way back, man, and so I think we'll see that this is just showing you that how fandom will never die.
All right. Um, I don't know where I want to take this next comment. I'm just going to kind of plow through it really quickly. I'm not going to dwell on this. But people are still talking about Sinners, and one of the shorts we put out and the video for him sparked some talk. One guy asked, I got to ask where their families are from, because the average FBA, Foundational Black American, would know this is very demonic, talking about him. And so is Sinners. I'm tired of sleep people quickly ready to teach or give their opinion when you guys have zero insight, nothing personal to these two guys, just an observation of what this country is on. Full up Satanism in your face. For the slow people in the back, the whole movie is an allegory into taking the deal. Sacrifice is not talking about time and fun working on a grind. It's planting seeds, people. Think more of people. The people. We heard all the stories, but people may have a short-term memory. I'm just upset at the lack of insight. My wife and I had to walk out of Sinners after having a full-on demonic attack. Because I went because I heard how popular it was, but didn't see anything about vampires. Okay, this guy just walked into the theater. If he didn't know that had vampires in it.
Nah, man, this is
I guess
a
I
good
guess
good 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 good
I guess he
comment.
thought
Good comment.
I guess he thought him was a just a football movie. Um,
I mean, I thought we talked about that. There was some Christian, imagery. We talked about the
mhm.
little pentagon on the ground. It would look like there was some Satanism. I think I even said, I don't know if I want to watch this movie, because of
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
So he's right. I mean, there is some crazy. I mean, but it's a horror film, so in horror films you're gonna have the devil. Let's just be honest. So that's kind of how I look at it. It's not Satanism, but it probably is. But most horror films are dealing with evil things, and so to him,
yeah.
now Sinners. I mean, there's another debate. I'm hearing, some Christians. I think did I tell you this one Christian influencer, Rusan. He did a video. He said, I went to go see Sinners, so you didn't have to. And his comment video is an hour and a half long. Someone put in the comments, he said, I could have watched Sinners. I said, listen to your commentary. But I digress, man. But I mean, look, I get it. look, man. I mean, so look, me and the kids. I just put my 2 cents on, like, as a Christian and what this all means right now with the allegories. Yeah, some stuff you probably shouldn't be looking at if you truly believe in, as a Christian and all that. It's just really, what your heart is telling you, what direction you need to go in, and what you're kind of feeling, led not to watch. But I will say this, when you kind of look at some of the Christian stuff that's coming out, we went to go see King of Kings with the kids. I mean, I gotta say, man, they gotta get a little bit more interesting with their storytelling. I mean, because yes, you tell stories about Jesus, there's certain foundational things you do, but then there was actually we were watching King of Kings, it was about Jesus, and they had another cartoon that's coming out about Jesus, and literally in the trailers the same beats, from the show, the
Yeah.
movie we were watching. Nothing wrong against that, but it's like we gotta, tell some different stories, man, different perspectives. Why not tell I mean, let's be honest, the Bible's R-rated. Let's tell some R-rated, biblical stories, man, to change up the conversation. So I think, entertainment, it doesn't
Mhm.
have to be placid when you're entertaining the faithful, right?
Right.
It can still be entertaining, it can still be truthful, but you got to make it entertaining. And I think sometimes, the faith people get away from that. So anyway, that's just my 2 cents on just faith movies in general. But I will say this about Sinners. Yeah, I mean, it's not for Christians. It's entertainment, right? And so if you go in there and you see it and you think there's going to be entertainment, or you think it's this and that, then is really just kind of like a horror film that's built around black trauma, basically, which is something Jordan Peele also traverses in. So I mean, I didn't see anything wrong with it, but if you do, I can, definitely understand that, and you're right. Maybe you shouldn't watch it.
Yeah. So, to the point about giving zero insight on something, one thing I don't want to do is say you should or shouldn't do something from a trailer. You know what I mean? I might
Mhm.
give a little perspective on, like, okay, that might be this or that, but one, it's a trailer and it's early on, and I'm not trying to look like I'm judging what I'm seeing right then. I'm just talking about the trailer. And two, um, I don't know that I need to go around thumbs upping and thumbs downing concepts. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, it's a complex movie, Sinners, and you know we know it's about taking the deal, but did they need to be as explicit as it was? Okay, there's an argument there, but and I think that's actually where a lot of people are coming from. It's like, okay, you're trying to send this message, but you're being very explicit. So now you're just sensationalizing, and which is the point. Shout out to Perlene. Um, so yeah, it's interesting, and the fact that we're having these discussions means it is very interesting. And full disclosure, I have family from basically New Orleans and northern Mississippi, so I may have a skewed opinion on alternative religion and uh, spirituality because of that. I didn't think about that a lot when I was growing up in the Christian school I went to, North Florida, South Georgia. But now that I'm thinking about it, it's like, huh, two hotbeds of interesting black spirituality.
Mhm. Mhm.
So,
Yeah. So it's well, and so check this out. I was at the bookstore the other day. This is going to trip your mind out. Did you ever notice? Check the next time you go to a Barnes and Nobles. I mean, I don't know. When's the last time you've been to a Books and Mill, Barnes and Noble bookstore? It's probably been too long. But if you happen to be in one, I always like to. If I happen to be one, I just like to browse the books to get excited about all the knowledge. See, my nerd cred is coming out, right? But I love books. Just learning new stuff. But if you go to a bookstore, they have the whole, religious, Christianity book section
yeah.
right here on the right. Now I don't know if this is every bookstore, but this is the way it was set up there. Then you slow go to the second shelf, and it's all about personal development. And then you go over to the left, all the way to the left, it's about occult stuff, right? the spell books and all that stuff. Now they have it in
Yeah.
bookstores. So I was like, So you start off, hey, it's one God, just, it's all about him. I need some more help. Look, it's all about me. It's really about me. I just need to improve myself. Then I need some more help again, but I need other help. So,
Yes, I have been enough bookstores to have noticed that one.
it's the pendulum swinging.
You're like you're about to curve the end of the corner and finish the shelf up, and it's like, ooh, tarot cards for
Yeah, exactly.
$5.99.
Tarot cards.
Where'd these come
The
from?
whole Wiccan's spell book. I was like, whoa, this is crazy. But it's just funny from Christianity, God to personal development to Wiccan stuff. It's just like a whole spectrum that you
Yeah,
can get help from. So it's interesting.
yeah, and historically speaking, this argument is not new at all. Back in the days of the Renaissance art, the iconic art, way back in those days, they're like, hey, this painting is a little bloody and violent. Why are you showing all this? And it's like, well, hey, the devil came through and this guy got attacked by this, the devil spirit, the
Mm,
satanic spirit and demons. And this is how he lashed out. And it's like, yeah, but it's a bit bloody. They've had these discussions ever since.
yeah,
So I'm glad that we're carrying on that tradition. So nothing's changed.
yeah. As always, thank you for your comments. Please continue to comment. We'll give you guys a shout out every time. Once we'll pick a
Yeah.
few select ones every week, but
Yeah.
we really
See,
appreciate
and
your comments.
you saw how nice that was? He sent us flame and we were just like, hey man, it's good.
Yeah.
Keep going.
We take the smoke. We take the smoke.
Yes. I'm like Targaryen. I'm a dragon. You can't burn me. That old satanic series. Anyway,
This satanic series now. Oh, Jesus. That's Star Wars, man. Ooh, man, that was the devil, boy. That Darth Vader.
and Game of Thrones, Star Wars, all
Unlimited power. Yeah,
yeah,
satanic.
yeah. Oh, that's funny. I hate you. So
Anakin,
so
I
yeah,
have the high ground.
so my friend, I was talking to my friend, and he went to see Revenge of the Sith for the Star Wars Day celebration, and um, a bunch of friends got together. They all were just like, "Hey, man, we're rolling out. We're going." And apparently, I didn't know it had become such a not even watching a movie. It's just a big romp. Every meme that comes up, every line, the crowd shouts out. You know, they're all yelling out their favorite scenes, and it's not as out of control as the Minecraft movie, nothing like that. But people had their lightsabers and all their outfits on. They were cosplaying in the theater. It's a big thing, man, and they did this for Revenge of the Sith, and I'm happy to see it, man. Star Wars lives on.
Oh yeah, I told you last week I went with took the kids and stuff. It
Hmm.
wasn't as rompous but I could tell there was a little buzz and excitement, man, about the room, and then there were people kind of laughing at the memes when they popped up. They didn't jump. Maybe because I go so early, Mr. Benja, I miss all the meme stuff. The memes gotta take a while to propagate. So I go so early that first opening weekend when people are like, "Oh, this is a meme," and then they're ready to put it out on social media, but
Yeah.
we're already out. I'm already saw the movie. I'm out. So yeah, I don't get caught up in that shenanigans. So maybe if I wait a little bit, like I may wait and see some of that. But nah, I was like I told my review last week, and I told you, I said, man, it's rough going the first hour, but the rest of it after that is gold, man. You forget it's like relevant to what we're dealing with now in our political environment, and just the struggle, the good and the bad within Anakin is just real, man. And yeah, it's a little bit kind of he goes from feeling remorseful to straight up killing kids in less than
Yeah.
10 minutes, but it's powerful stuff, man. And so, but yeah, man, definitely highly recommended.
So Forbes put out an article saying Star Wars Day celebrates Revenge of the Sith 900 million anniversary gift. So basically, they've been raking in some money all this time, and it's almost up to a Billy.
Billy. Yeah. Sounds about right, man. I think I forgot. I guess it didn't make a billion the first time. That was 20 years ago. What? I don't think any movies are making a billion back then. I gotta look at the numbers, but yeah, I mean, but anyone that's close to that number was pretty high. And so it was Revenge of the Sith. I think, uh, in my opinion, I think that was the best of the prequels. I always thought that was the best of the prequels, even though,
Okay.
yeah, I know you're of a different opinion. Yes, we know.
No, well, hold on. As a movie goes, I think Revenge of the Sith was the best of the movies, like as a movie.
Yeah.
But in terms of like the stuff I liked about it, I can pick out more stuff in the Phantom Menace that I liked.
Yes.
I get that it wasn't
Yes.
as good of a movie, but I'm like, man, give me that pod race, give me the yeah, it's just all kinds of stuff.
Wait a minute. Did it come out in when we were still in college in '99? I want to
What?
say they did. Phantom Menace.
You might have been there. I
I was
no, no,
gone,
no,
son. When did Phantom Menace come out? He said, son, I was gone.
no. It was after that
Because
because I
this one came
remember
out in 2005.
Star
Uh,
Wars Episode One, Phantom Menace, 1999.
yeah, it did come out in
Uh,
1990. So you were gone by
so
then, huh?
I was
Because you were
in
98. You were gone, huh?
I was in Michigan. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe I did go see it when I was because I was a fifth year guy. Sorry guys, I was a little behind by purpose. I said I'm just gonna stay one
No,
more
no. It was a
year.
whole. It was a your business program was doing all kinds of things over in Nesby.
Yeah, so I was doing all that
So
kind of foolishness, but I should have left like y'all. Had a semester off, man. I don't know what I was thinking, but anyway, so yeah, I remember seeing it when I was still in college, the Phantom,
yeah,
and I think you and I talked about it thoroughly, the pod race specifically. So anyway, but yeah, man, yeah, good times, man, and I'm glad they kind of re-released one of the better prequels. So, but I think it's embarrassing. I saw some haters. There's a lot of Star Wars toxic fandom. We'll talk about in a second. Haters out
hmm
there saying, "Man, Star Wars can't get any their new Star Wars movies right, but their old ones are still better performing." I think so. This one just got released. It was $25 million in 2025, a movie that came out 20 years ago. People are
yeah,
like, what? And we can't get one new Star Wars movie in the last 6 years. So it's just like, yeah, Kathleen Kennedy, she's got to go because this is ridiculous. You have an old 20-year-old movies doing better than some of your more recent Star Wars fares. It's just not good.
yeah. It knocked out what was the box office for the weekend because it did better than
Oh, you're
Accountant Two.
yeah, Counting Two. Yep, did better than Counting Two. Not better than Sinners. Yeah, I think it was the second most watched movie last weekend. So there you go. That's the thing.
Sad but true.
Yeah. So you're gonna go check out. You're gonna May the 4th tomorrow. You're gonna go see the Revenge of the Sith.
Absolutely not. No.
Oh, are you gonna watch
I'm
it? So are you gonna at least watch a Star Wars, something Star Warsy tomorrow because May the
No, I'll
4th.
probably put on the soundtrack and walk around the house in my slippers.
Duel of the Fates, man. No, dude. I remember listening to Duel of the Fates in our dorm room or not our apartment, man, studying.
Yes,
So did the Duel of the Fates did the soundtrack come out before the movie?
I want to say yes. I definitely want to say yes to that.
Could you remember that? Because we would talk in detail about like, yeah, I go to Barnes and Nobles or I go to Borders back in the day to go study, and I'll have Duel of the Fates, just playing. Do, 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 do. I mean, it's just seared in my brain. I remember it so much, man.
Yeah.
Do, 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 do. I would listen to that and get hyped while I was studying. I'm trying to figure out some Laplace formula crap for engineering. It's just like I can do this. So anyway, I digress. Star Wars got me through school, man. Thank you.
Basically.
So yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
go
Any
ahead.
other thoughts about Star Wars? I mean, Have you checked out Andor? I know I'm pivoting here a little bit, unless you had some more about
No,
Revenge
go
of the
ahead.
Sith. But Andor's good. I mean, I've been watching it. Matter of fact, I was finishing up before we did this. The last 3 episodes.
Hmm.
So they're doing 3 episodes at a time. So
Out of
they
how
do.
many?
Shoot, good question. You would ask me that. I would say it's going to be about one, two, three, four, about five of them. But I'll look into that. But they just did the last 3 stops. So the vision is they want to do um
It says
uh
12.
12. Okay, so they're trying to do um a year, 1 year. So basically, each episode is a day um in the year. So the first 3 were about, hey, these are the 3 days, the most important 3 days of that year. And then they skip another year and they find another 3 days, right, a year later, and it's all leading up to Rogue One. So instead of
Mm,
doing like 5 seasons of a show, they're just doing little mini arcs
interesting.
leading
Yeah.
it up to the Rogue One, which is kind of interesting. So you kind of catching up and see, okay, what happened last time, the last arc, right, that we saw, and they're releasing all 3 at the same time. So it's kind of interesting. So you kind of have a little mini movie that you watch every week to see
Yeah.
where where the rebellion is. And yeah, man, it's good. I mean, I think what makes this show good is they take Star Wars seriously for the first time. There's some hokiness because, I think you see the weird aliens show up every now and then. Ugato Bako, shows up every 2 seconds, every so often, or some weirdness shows up. But they treat it like, hey, this is life or death because we're rebelling against the Empire, right? Who could kill us and snuff us out any moment. So you got a
Yeah.
lot of that spy stuff. I mean, we talked about it. Did you see the first? I think you said you saw the first season, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I've definitely talked about the first season. It was too good.
Too
I
good.
mean,
What's that mean? It's too good.
it's just like, I couldn't sit down and just be stupid with it. I had to actually like, hold
Yeah.
on a second. Oh wait, this guy with the hammers, man, and the steel and the calling people out. Oh man, jumping on the floor. It's just like it was intense for Star Wars. And I think they needed to do that. But I actually started watching Andor and stopped at one point and was like, hold on a second, hold on. What am I doing? I'm treating what is that? I'm treating beef Wellington like it's a corn dog. You know, it's both meat wrapped up in some stuff, but I'm treating it like a corn dog. I got to calm down, back up, sit down, put my bib on, and watch this Andor thing. Beef Wellington all day, baby, and enjoy it.
Well, the analogy you always give, you always say it's like pizza. Star Wars is like pizza. It's all good.
Yeah,
So
it's all of it's good. So this is a very fine pizza, by the way.
it
Art,
is. It
artisanal
is.
thin crust, Asiago cheese, black olives.
Funnier than I thought it would be too. Some moments,
Okay,
first season with the mother and Cyril. I don't know if you remember that character. That's comedy that continues on in the second season. The guy
Cyril.
with the cereal, he was drinking the cereal with the bowl of his mother.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah, so that
yes, yes,
continues.
yes, yes.
Yes, yeah, foolishness that continues. So I'm surprised they have time for some comedy. But they had a time for that seriousness. So what have I given to the Empire? Everything. just those intense monologues, and
Yeah,
of course you got Forrest Whitaker doing his old Saul Guerrero thing. So yeah, man, it's of a piece, man. I think I'm vibing with it. You're right, man. It's really good. There was a line that was said in the second season. It was a truthful line. I said, "Oh man, this is a good line," because it was truthful what he said. But then I thought about, oh, he's not talking about these characters. He's talking about the guy in the room. So I was like, dang, that's some good
yeah,
dialogue when you have 3 things going on with it. When it's a
yeah,
piece of
yeah.
truth that makes sense. It's a simple truth. Plus, he's not only talking about other characters, but he's also talking about the guy in the room at the same time. I was like, damn, that's some good ass writing. It's like when you
Nice.
can get one piece of dialogue to kind of just to reference 3 different things. I was like, wow, that's good. So it's up there, man. It's definitely takes Star Wars seriously, and I think that's what I think Star Wars needed that. Now before we go into this Mandarin and Goku, you know, that should be fun. Cute Yoda, baby Yoda out here, levitating.
Yeah.
in movies. Yeah, yeah.
It,
Is he going to have a? Is he going to have a lightsaber? Oh no, Baby Yoda of a lightsaber. Oh no, I might have to throw my popcorn at the screen, man.
I figure they're gonna play it safe, man. Um, I mean, I was into Andor. It's funny, all these different vibes of Star Wars. We were talking about how they have the smugglers, they have the rebels, they have the Empire, you have the Mandalorians, you have all these different angles. Um, a lot of people like the prequels for the political aspect, and one thing I didn't realize about Andor for a while is how much it made me feel that corporate pain. Like when you're just in a
Yeah.
corporation and you're like, ugh, what is going on here? And you try to say something in a meeting and somebody else says something and you're like, I thought we were the Empire. Aren't we supposed to be getting stuff done? Why is this happening? Now I got to go backstab this guy and get him fired. By the way, I
Yes.
successfully fired 3 clowns who tried to come after me. By the way, that I know like directly. Like, hey man, this guy's effing around. We got to get him out of here.
Gotta make an example out of him, son.
You ain't part of the Empire no more.
No, no, no. What they say? You know what, that guy? Nah, I don't think he's gonna work out anymore. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I love that phrase. He's just not working out.
Yeah, yeah. He's not our type of guy. You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know what you mean, boss. I know what you mean. So yeah. Wow, Mr. Benja, you definitely you should play Survivor, man. It sounds like you know how to take these cats out, boy. In corporate America.
Hey man, yeah. Well, there was that one time there was a layoff, and I didn't make it through the layoffs, but I know I grabbed a bunch of people with me. Towards the end, I was in those meeting rooms
We're all
unannounced.
going down.
Just, when you know you're about to get hit with the round of layoffs, and you walk into a meeting that you're not involved in, like, well, I was told by grabbing everybody. Yeah, sorry.
Oh, I
Um,
think I may have. I almost got if I didn't. I had it's an incident one time in corporate America. I had just started my career and I had got in trouble with some foolishness. And I was there was a room that was had, and if the guy that was supposed to be there, I think because I went to the boss beforehand and told them the truth and said, "Hey, look, I made a mistake. Whatever shouldn't happen again." So there was a room. Everybody went to this room. I was in this room, but one guy that was supposed to be in the room wasn't there. I think they switched us out because I would have been outside the room, and so basically everybody that was in the room was saved, and everybody outside the room was gone. Matter of fact, when we came out the room, they were all looking sad and putting stuff in their bags, ready to leave.
yeah.
So yeah, man, it's corporate America's rough, but yeah, that's what you get with Star Wars, man. The political intrigue stuff, that's for sure.
Somebody gets the force choke through the screen, and you're just like,
Yeah, kiss the table, kiss the table, kiss the table. Yeah, but Star Wars, man, it's good stuff, man.
so. So this have you heard anything about the Grogu movie? It's still just been pretty quiet, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to come out next year, so we'll start seeing stuff. I mean, am I super excited about it? Not really. I mean, it'd be good to have Star Wars back on the big screen, but The Mandalorian kind of got kind of boring to me at the end. It was kind of cool when it first came out. Oh, it's Star Wars on TV, but in the third season, I think it kind of petered out. That's just my opinion of it. Didn't seem that was that interesting. But
You know what it felt. If you know what it felt like to me,
but
it felt like the suits realized, hey, this is going to be big, and it's going to be doing this and that and that. Hey, let's do more of this and that, and everybody starts chattering, and it starts pushing the creatives out. And I think that happened a little too early. They should have just let it settle a little more, just be kind of weird and do other things. Um, because yeah, at a certain point, it just didn't feel as genuine. You could slowly see that seeping in.
yeah, I mean, when was that the second season when Luke Skywalker showed up, or was that the first season?
It wasn't the first.
And so, yeah, you're right. When they had CGI Mark Hamill show up, I was like, look, it was hype. Don't get me wrong. It was cold blooded. But yeah, it was a little too much. It's just like, do we need to have CGI Mark Hamill show up? Popping off. I mean, they were trying to recreate that whole scene like they did in Rogue One, where Darth Vader showed up right at the end.
Yeah.
So to kind of just show you what it's like to face, you just living your life, doing your own thing, and then these guys that are magicians show up in your world. How transformational that is, and so they did that with Rogue One. If you haven't seen Rogue One, spoiler alert: Darth Vader shows up at the end, and they did that with Mandalorian season 2, where
Hmm.
Luke Skywalker shows up and just wrecks shop. So it's kind of like, wow, this is. It is almost like what they call that in storytelling, Deus ex machina, God from the machine, where
Yeah.
this super powerful character pops up and it changes the whole narrative of everything.
I thought it was dumb.
What's Darth Vader or Luke Skywalker or both
No,
going
Darth
on?
Vader. That scene was sacrosanct, necessary, and had to be done. Uh, Having Mark Hamill show up was just like, dude, it's going to be like the Vader thing, but with Hamill, it's going to be cool. It's like, get out of here with that.
Oh, is that because it was
No.
done before? That's why you felt it was a little too much.
Well, not that it was done before, but that's the reason why they did it is because it was done before.
Yeah, obviously, yeah, and it was
It
supposed to
just
be
it just
shock.
played
Yeah,
like that. It's like so when the story does something like that where they put a gimmick and then they try to build backwards, it usually doesn't work out. It's
and
kind of clunky
yeah,
usually, but
and it sniffs of corporate interference. To your point, it gets a whiff of that corporate interference. Hey,
yeah,
what would be cool? What they say in
wouldn't
the
it be cool
Facebook?
if?
Well, it'd be cool if not $1 million, but $1 billion, right? Not if just Darth Vader shows up, but Mark Hamill. I mean, and he's CGI. Gotta
Yeah,
love,
exactly.
gotta
Yeah,
love it.
so I'm wary of that kind of stuff. But yeah, this is one of those things we were talking about the fandom versus FOMO in um, just in history, and Star Wars is really kind of bridging those two areas. I think. Yeah, you sent me something about the old era, new era. What was that about?
Yeah, so Ankler, they did. It's a entertainment magazine. Some gurus in Hollywood. Everybody's got a newsletter now, and I think it's the guy's name is Richard Runsfield. He does like this newsletter, and he read a great article about like what's happening in Hollywood. Right? We had Fandom that just kind of exploded over the last, 20 something or over 40 years. When we're talking about Star Wars, but really in the last 15 years because of Marvel, and the fandom is driving the storytelling and people going to the cinema, right? But that's
Mhm.
being slowly being replaced by this thing called FOMO, fear of missing out, and it's been driven by these memes that we talked about before, right? The chicken jockey, the Megan 2.0 trailer, the Gentle Minions, all Barbenheimer. These event things are popping up because
Yeah,
people are on social media and say, "I gotta go see this movie because I saw it on social media," as opposed to
right.
hey, I need to see this movie because it's part of a mythology that I need to keep following forever.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
think that's what we're finding, and it's like he was trying to give you a consideration of like, how do you, figure this out with IP? Where's this going? Right? Is it becoming still? Is fandom still in vogue when it comes to movies, or we're moving into this fear of missing out? And the FOMO, unfortunately, is just not predictable enough from a business standpoint because no one knows what part of a movie is going to be interesting enough to make people want to meme it, to make people want to attend. And so it's a
yeah.
challenge from a business standpoint.
Well, that's part of the joy of it. FOMO. It's just it comes out of nowhere. Like, what if some random celebrity ends up watching it and comes out of the theater and somebody catches them on on TikTok or YouTube or something and just catches them saying some statement, and suddenly that statement becomes famous, and then everybody starts going to the movie just to make a short about that statement. It's like that's intentionally by the audience unpredictable. It's made for the audience. It is of the audience and by the audience. So I think the question is, how much FOMO, how much group interaction do you want in a crafted piece of art? And this is a constant thing. It's like big artists, they're always like, okay, how much of me do I put in this? And then how much of the audience feeling do I channel through me and put out there, right? So
Well,
it's going to be weird trying to not it's not that the what's happening now is a bad thing, but it's going to be weird seeing what people try to make of this.
well, I mean, he's trying to give you both sides, the different angles of all of it. So
Hmm.
even though the fandom is predictable, it can easily become toxic, as we talked
Hmm.
about with Star Wars, right? If if you do it right, they love you and say, "Hey, keep doing what you're doing." But if you get it wrong, Star Wars, another other MCU properties, they would turn on you like a bad habit, and it will and so much for your predictable revenue. And so there is that element of being almost captured by the fandom.
Yeah,
There's a scene in Thunderbolts we'll talk about next time, but it's basically if you get trapped into something, people own you in a sense, right? And so I think that's the challenge with fandom. It can be predictable if you get it right, but if you mess up too much, then and we're seeing that now with the MCU a little bit, right? And we've seen that with Star Wars, where it becomes a little toxic, right? And you have these folks out there, basically shitting on movies, not really watching them, but because they're made by Marvel or they're made by Disney, because it
yeah,
has some other agenda. So I think that's what we're seeing a little bit in fandom. Whereas FOMO, the thing is more fun. Is fun, yes. The kids are jumping out the screens with chickens on their heads and throwing popcorn everywhere, but it's joyful. It's not toxic, right? It's
yeah.
more exciting. Um, and it's really kind of like, hey, everybody's kind of happy to do it, right? As opposed to because they feel
Right.
they're part of it, like you said, part of a bigger audience. Now, it may not be predictable, but I think the argument is then you make movies that are a little bit more interesting, a little bit out the norm, so that they can potentially become memeable, right? Let's say you do a movie like Snakes on the Plane. It was a meme movie before we knew what memes were. Remember that
Yeah.
movie? Snakes on the
Yes, that too.
Plane. Samuel Jackson saying motherfucking excuse my language, but you know what I mean. Mother
Yeah.
loving snakes off the plane. You knew that was going to happen, and just the title was weird, but that would have been a meme movie today, right? Just making stuff that's just out there enough that you could potentially have something that creates a FOMO moment. So basically, it behooves the studios to start making more innovative movies to create that
So
environment.
exactly, and with the studio challenge is instead of, and this is interesting with movies because it's usually such a one way type of presentation. Like we're the movie studios, we have the screens, we're pushing something out into your eyeballs. You better like it and buy plenty of popcorn, extra butter.
With the new pop,
It with
with the new bucket. Don't forget that
Yes,
IP
with
bucket.
the Mission Impossible dual key bucket, in case you've seen that goofy stuff. Um, but how do you give audiences control? Like with video games and comic books and things, it's a little different where you can gauge the reader input and you can start injecting stuff like that into the material. With a movie, I've seen like callbacks to certain memes that hit before the movie came out. um, Script changes and slight edits have been made, and trailers have come out that have responded to the voices of the people. But it's interesting thinking about how many tools that you can give the audience to engage with the movie in the way you want. It's not the same as a video game where people can just kind of play it and enjoy it however they want, you know. So
So you're saying if you can create better tools that people engage with it? I mean, I think there's an argument to say that could help with the movie theater situation, but it does seem like there's already tools that exist, the social media aspect and creating memes from that. But we just don't know. There's probably memes being made all the time of any type of movie, but only very few hit. So it's like, but once they
well, okay.
hit, so I think they also make the argument is like the studios need to kind of figure out how to lean into that without becoming ridiculous. Like for instance, Just being, if something hits, I think you have to take a
Hmm.
moment to kind of see what's hitting about it, and then kind of do a wink, wink on social media yourself, and just like, hey, I think I heard read somewhere that Minecraft, they were trying to do like a special day where you can come to the movie theater and have a celebration of chicken jockey or some crap, right? Or you remember they
Yeah.
did that, try to do that thing with is what's that? What was that movie with Morpheus? Is Morphe time or something? They remember trying to make that a thing when Morpheus came
Don't know.
out. Yeah, they try to re-release. We talked about it too. They try to re-release Morpheus, the Sony villains movie of Spider-Man. The vampire, the living vampire.
Oh, Morbius.
Morbius. That's it. Morpheus. Sorry, guys.
Yeah,
I
I'm
was
thinking
thinking.
Matrix.
Yeah, me too.
Morbius. Yes.
Morbius. Thank you. Morbius got re-released, and they try to, because there was people were memeing about it, but they were kind of laughing at it, and they were trying to
Yeah,
say, "Can we make this a thing?" And it
a thing.
fell
Yeah.
like a wet fart, right? No one cared. So I think the studios have to kind of think through, like, what is people, are they laughing with you, laughing at you, and then how do you lean into that to get them to come back to the theater? I guess that's the challenge.
Yeah. I mean, and this, I believe this has to happen from the developmental stages. Like, if you're going into a movie, it's got to play out a certain way that engages the audience in the way the audience wants it,
But how do
which
you
is
know?
what I
But
think.
how do you know what that is, though? I guess that's the question.
Well, no, you're built. That's the thing. You're letting go of control, and you're building a bit of a playground. As I was saying with video games, we there was a Midnight Club, for example, way back in the day. They had the way you could run races and everything, and they had this lobby where you could just drive your cars around before the race started. But a lot of people wouldn't even start the race. They would just drive their cars and be like, "Look at my Cadillac, dog! Look at my Cadillac!" and just do donuts, right? And all of a sudden they would go off and mod their car while the other person drives his Corvette into the center of the circle, and it's like, "Nah, I ain't got nothing on my vet, son. Ain't got nothing on my vet." And they're doing donuts in their red Corvette with green rim tires and everything. It's just, and nobody. I was at Rockstar at the time. Nobody had planned for this. We're just watching these people in the in the lobbies, and we're listening to them like, this is wild. It's been like 45 minutes and they haven't started playing the game yet. They're just all messing around in the lobby doing customizations. So next patch comes out and it's more customizations, more ability to do this and that, and style points and things like this start getting introduced as concepts. So as I was saying, how do you do that with the movie? It has to come from the developmental side, where as you're developing the movie, you start putting stuff out, see what people say. Um, do people start preparing to do cosplays for it, and it's whatever. I don't know what the studios are up
Well,
to, but
yeah, I don't know how that's how movies could be made, because it's not just a digital media. It's very collaborative, and you got actors you got to bring back in to reshoot things. You have a
hmm
script, so what, you're gonna shoot some dailies and say, oh, let's see if people like this. They could do that. I just don't think that's baked into the cake right now. The
it,
only type of things like Megan 2.0, they already know Megan first. The first one worked well, right? So
hmm
everything about they thought they knew, like her swinging around doing the dance stuff. They just, okay, let's take a lot of that. That was their test case. They took that,
yeah.
and then they put more of that. That's what sequels are, right? They're just more of what people like from the original that they finally got data on. I don't think they can get data on a movie before it's made. Does that make sense? I think that's what you're saying.
I'm I think there's some radical changes that they could make to certain movies to see how this could play out.
Okay.
Yes. Uh, anyway, we got some trailers, right?
Yeah, let's get into it.
All right.
But yeah,
Unless you had
everybody,
anything else,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
if you guys like this comment, this conversation, we'll go more into it another time. But I thought this is an ongoing conversation of what's happening in movies right now, and we're seeing fandom change rapidly, and this being replaced by this FOMO movement. So we wanted to see where this goes, especially in movies. So we'll talk more about it later.
Would you would you enjoy going to a movie that where the content changed over time?
It's getting to that point on TV. We'll talk about that next time. TV is
Yes, we'll
starting to
bring
do
that up.
that. Streaming TV is doing that right now. So
They're
yes.
already doing it. Yes. All right. All right. So we have a couple trailers here for you. Some good and juicy trailers we got. Let us. You got all your stuff queued up?
Let's go.
All right. First up, we have Weapons, the official trailer, not just the teaser, and we're starting right now. Rated R. Restricted.
This is a true story that happened in my town. So this one Wednesday is like a normal day for the whole school. But today was different. Every other class had all their kids. But Mrs. Gandy's room was totally empty. And you know why? Because the night before, at 2:17 in the morning, every kid woke up, got out of bed, walked downstairs, and into the dark. And they never came back.
I don't understand at all. Why just her classroom? Why only hers?
Where are our children?
We have a lot of emotional parents here. I think it's best if you keep some distance from this place.
Matthew, where are you? Where did you go?
This is where the story really starts.
Okay.
Bruh. Bruh. Bruh.
Mm-hmm.
They got the creep factor turned up.
So Zach Krager, did you ever watch the movie Barbarian?
No.
Did you hear about that one?
No.
It's
I was wondering why it was a title. Like that.
yeah, me and the missus saw that. It's kind of like, hey, it's a normal house. Everything's cool. Lady shows up at this guy's house, but shenanigans ensue when she finds a hidden basement. Just and then there's a whole thing that comes out of that. So, yeah, he's just known for kind of doing these like, hey, this is a simple on the surface thing, but once you start digging deep, there's some craziness coming out. So, yeah, it looks interesting. I mean, I got kids, so I don't know how much I want to watch this one yet, but I just got time for that stuff.
It looked low budget, yet quality.
Yeah,
like they took their time to, and I don't know if it's going to be deep at all, but just enough to creep you out. You're probably not going to tie up the whole story, so you go home looking at kids and you're just kind of creeped out. Son, I'm going to close your door tonight, and I'm going to lock my door just to let you know.
So that creeped you out? It didn't really creep me out so much. Maybe that maybe just because I have kids, it's just more like, I don't want to see kids be gone. So, but it creeped you out though.
Hold on. A fork, stabbing yourself in the
Oh
face.
yeah, that was pretty intense. Yeah, it was pretty intense. What was that? Oil that was spilled on somebody's face?
What one would hope it was oil.
if that was only oil, that's the least of your problems. But yeah, the comments are saying best trailer I've seen in a while. Tells you everything and nothing. Yeah, that's true.
That's a good point. Let's see.
Someone says, "Why are their arms stretched out?"
Naruto. Wait a minute. I guarantee there's somebody saying Naruto running in there.
Yeah.
You know Naruto, the
Yes, I do.
anime.
I do know that.
Oh, they don't have many comments on it yet. Okay,
Yeah. So
they'll be there. They'll be there shortly.
someone put nope.
Exactly. That's it. Okay, so check this out. There's witchcraft involved. I knew it. If we're digging into the trailer, I wanted to check this one scene at about 1:35 in. The person is stepping over what looks like a line of salt. If you know
Okay.
your witchcraft lore, you know, putting down salt symbols or salt circles
Uh-huh.
to keep it's a barrier to demonic spirits.
Yeah.
So definitely demonic. If you're not into that sort of thing. But you know what really tripped me out, man?
How's that?
This ending scene with the door just being open like that.
Oh yeah, that's Barbarians 101. It was like that. A lot of just doors just opened and just that's it. Nothing pops out, just a door opened and you just like, oh, what's in the door? So it's kind of like,
Yeah.
but they said the scariest thing is your imagination, right? And so I think that's he's this director is very well versed in that. So yeah, sounds like you're intrigued. Yeah, I can skip it. Maybe me and the missus catch it on a random Tuesday. We got nothing else to
Yeah.
do on Halloween. We watch one scary movie, year if that, Halloween time frame. But yeah, it's not to see in August when it comes out.
And this Ozark girl, there better be some I don't know shit about kind of memes going on.
Well, that's the same. She's got a lot of movies coming out. She's gonna be Silver Surfer. You know that Julia Gardner.
Right.
So yeah,
Right.
she's got a little heat on her. But yeah, I don't know, man. I hope she can get out of that whole Ozark accent thing. Because she sold the shit out of that one. I don't know shit about nothing. I'm just a little country girl.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, like I said, I'm not gonna watch it, but it seems intriguing. If you watch it, let me know what you think.
Yeah, it's probably a note for me too. Not that I wouldn't. I just, I'll section out a certain amount of movies that I'm going to catch, and I don't know if I need to watch that one in the theater. Have some kid run by me and I'll like push him into the bushes because I'm nervous.
I don't know, man. With the kid with the come on, with the Joker makeup, I don't know. That was a little too.
As I said, that's why I said low budget.
Yeah.
Like, they got time to run that back.
Yeah, don't do that one. All right. What's next, man?
Speaking of unholy, this is the trailer for The Unholy Trinity with Pierce Brosnan and Samuel L. Jackson. We know absolutely nothing about this, but we're starting right now. Thank you, MPA.
Where you headed?
Trinity.
And just who might this be?
My pa.
Mind if I ask how he passed?
He was framed.
You might need this. They call me St. Christopher, by the way.
Welcome to Trinity.
Sheriff, my name is Henry Broadway.
That would make your father Isaac Broadway. Let me give you a bit of advice. Keep your ancestry between us. Not every man who's known is loved.
I knowed your daddy real well. Me and him stole enough gold, paved the streets of heaven.
Think I know where that gold is?
I don't know.
Do you?
In case it ain't obvious, you will find that gold.
Henry!
It's on the other side!
Stay back! You killed one of those men. Now you ride with me.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I bet anything I own at Henry Broadway just hit that gold. What are we waiting for?
Let's go!
They're coming for you.
People are riled up.
I'm still faster than there. What you want is not the gold. It's blood. And this madness! Every town has its heroes and villains. Don't get caught on the wrong side of that coin.
I don't want to be no villain.
Man don't know what he is till his back's against the wall.
Not bad. Not bad.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think of the word. Like, I'm not trying to knock this, but it feels like an Amazon Prime movie.
Yeah. Now, I would say this. It looks great. I don't know. Something about the cinematography as Samuel Jackson, the coloring was great with him. I'm not really one to notice all that, but for this one, it just seemed like it was filmed really well outside in the Western air. But to your point, it's a Western, number one, so those are always a hard sell. But it doesn't have that. You ever see Unforgiven?
Yes.
Or True Grit?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those are great modern westerns. It seemed like this was for like 1992 western. That hey, it's just some stars to see if it's. It doesn't seem like a 2025 western, right? With some. I don't see the ambiguity. It's just like here's good and bad. I don't see the young guy. What I saw of him didn't seem like he could play both sides. It looks like he's trying to be in the middle between good and bad, but he still had that blank kind of face. But I want to see some smirkness. He could go either way. That could be interesting. He could go either way. He was just looking like a deer in the headlight the whole time. So I don't know if that's just the actor or what they're portraying. And then I don't even get what the hook is. It's just like, okay.
I will draw his face in 3 lines.
I mean, it just wasn't giving me an emotion, man. It was like I want to see, I'm assuming the impression was it was like this devil, and Pierce Bronson and Samuel Jackson with the devil and the angel, right? So he's got it. Well, basically, that's Sam Jackson pretty much set the theme of the movie, right? You don't know what you are until your back is against the wall. So if this guy is trying to decide which direction, we need an actor that's going to portray both sides believably, and I didn't get that from that actor. But also, I don't even know what the hook is. It's like a regular story. This could be done, like you said, Amazon streaming show, could be a TV series. But it's like that's fine. But a movie, I mean, what's the most interesting thing about that from a movie standpoint?
Yeah. Once again, it could definitely be a good movie. It's got a lot of interesting elements in it, but the way they were laid out, I'm just talking about the trailer editing here. The way it was laid out, it was like almost too easy. Yeah. There was nothing for me to figure out. And then it went on for 2 minutes, 20 seconds. Yeah, I think you really could have told a tighter trailer in 1:30. Like, there's gold. Do you keep it? Do you run? Does he even have the gold? And, just showing a bunch of characters. Where's the gold? Here's the gold here. I don't know. Throwing a little intrigue into it, Maybe Sam Jackson has the gold.
Yeah.
No. And speaking of it, shout out to Sam Jackson. Basically, very, very talented actor, but kind of still playing himself everywhere he goes.
Pretty much. Looks like they filmed this in Montana. So that's why it looks great. They actually filmed it there. It's not on a set somewhere. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, it does seem like a streaming movie or something that's going to be. Let's see.
Yeah, jump to 132 if you're still on it.
132. What's that?
See this guy's face?
Yeah.
That's a character right there. I mean, he just looks like a character, and I wanted to see more characters.
Yeah. Especially the main guy. He's the young guy. Got to see some more character out of that. Yeah, I just don't get what the hook is. What's the impelling reason to go see this? I mean, if you like westerns, great. I mean, that's one area. But it's got like Unforgiven. I think you should go watch like a western or True Grit. there was something in those that made them intriguing. It's like, is this guy gonna, who's this bad guy? Is he gonna turn good? Or maybe they could have said, hey, look at this young guy. We could have your dad was a bad guy. What about you? You turning bad too? Just some kind of question in my mind about this main young character guy. And then showing him doing something bad, then showing him kissing a puppy. Next scene, I don't know. Confuse me. show him doing something different. Is he good? Is he bad? It's like. It seems like that's the angle they're going for. Then let's make that character so interesting, make him the most interesting person in the world that you want to be compelled to go see this. And if you like westerns, so
and once again, as we're saying, might be a great movie, might not. We're just giving our reaction to how the trailer came across to us. And once again, the trailer is usually part of the story, so it does inform us on what's to be expected.
But Mr. Benja, I was just thinking about this. Trailers are true epitome of show versus business. It's a marketing tool as well, because I was just talking to you. It's like, okay, it's a Western, but then how are you going to get people into the seats to see a Western in this day and age? Whereas yours, like from a creative standpoint, where's the interesting aspects of this? So, the trailers got to do both. And if it's not doing both, it fails. You got so maybe that's what we should do. We're just gonna rate these trailers. Did it be successful? From a business standpoint, and then was it successful from a creative standpoint? I think that should be interesting.
All right. Well, what do you think? Business
wise, straight D.
All right, we'll do the letter grades. All right.
So we'll set it up next time. But we'll get to it.
My first reaction was a straight C, for creatively, where it did it did what it was supposed to, the basics, but it's like the basics. And Sam Jackson, so. Oh, and I redid his face a little bit to give him a little more character.
Oh.
Same guy.
I love it. We got to get more instant art by Mr. Benja. Instant art corner with Mr. Benja.
All right. Thank you for watching that. All right. This is our trailer reaction for The Smashing Machine with Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, and Emily Blunt, starting right now. Oh,
probably looking at my eyes.
How did that happen?
Well, have you ever heard of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, the UFC?
That's the bloody thing they're trying to ban.
This guy is the best he has ever seen.
Do you hate each other when you fight?
Absolutely not.
How do you know Mark Kerr?
Oh, we go way back. But he's a buddy of mine.
Come on, baby. Too much?
Never.
Too much?
No.
Please welcome in his Octagon debut, Mark Kerr!
Winning is the best feeling there is. It's 40,000 people, and they're cheering you on. There's no other high like it in the world.
No contract, no money?
No money.
Do you have any stronger pain medication?
Advil?
Advil?
Yeah.
Don, would you like?
No.
They're handing them out like candy. Let's all get in. Everybody get in. Hey, Don, can you take this picture for us?
Yeah.
What are you thinking at the beginning of the fight?
It's simple. Am I going to hurt him before he hurts me?
Yes, there were times, I'm sure you.
This Grand Prix to crown the greatest fighter in the world. He has come back from the brink. Let's see if he can pull out a victory over Mark Coleman. Have you spoken to either about fighting such a good friend for a life-changing amount of money?
I faced it all.
I just need you to let me in.
I took the bull.
Always about you. Only about fighting you.
Let's fucking go.
think he wants your autograph.
Sure, no problem. No fighting.
Well.
Uh-oh. Go in.
I'm intrigued. I mean, this is obviously an Oscar play for Mr. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I mean, he's playing a character that looks like him physically, but just they did some prosthetics of his face to make him look a little different, and the way he's acting is a little bit different than how he would act, as The Rock. So this is his play for acting chops. I think that's intriguing. Did you ever see any of the Safdie brothers stuff, like Good Times or what's the one with what was it called with Adam Sandler? It was on Netflix. He was running around all over the place.
The jeweler?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
I don't remember the name of it, but he was a jeweler, right?
Yeah. The Safdie.
I saw that one. Yeah, what about it?
Yeah, well, that's what they do. It's just all this talking is like this kind of, what's it called? Cinema verite, where it's like, it seems like they're filming it, like they're not really filming it. People just talking and just living their life. So people talking over each other. It's just constantly just moving, right?
Yeah.
And so, Uncut Gems, that's what it's called.
Yeah.
And then if you ever saw Good Time with Robert Pattinson, it's very similar. So, so this is kind of what they do. This kind of like weird kind of, something that looks like real life. And so I think that does play well for a story like this, in my opinion. But so I'm intrigued. What about you?
All right. Are you into MMA, or have you ever been?
I did watch. I watched a couple. My day. I'm not. It's just too much. I mean, I'd rather watch wrestling now. but if I do watch stuff, but M&A, yeah. I mean, I think one time I went to somebody's house.
Oh no, the referee got knocked out. What are we gonna do now?
M&A is just like brutal. You've seen it, right? But I'll be honest with you. I did take this couple of things. I did watch like Ultimate Fighting Championship where the guys competed to see if they could get a UFC championship when it was a reality show. So that was kind of interesting. I watched that 1 year.
Okay.
But yeah, I haven't been super into. I can't even name. All I remember is the Gracie brothers, right? They were the ones who dominated UFC for a while, or M&A. But I don't remember any names. Do you?
I don't really follow it. No, I don't follow it. Back in the very, very, very beginning, I remember getting some tapes, some VHS tapes, and watching them, and was like, "Holy crap! These guys could just do anything."
Yeah.
Like, I'm talking about the tapes before they banned hitting below the belt.
Yeah.
And it was just some wild stuff. So, I'm sure when I watch this, it'll bring back some weird memories. But yeah, I like that real presentation. I think the scene where she was holding the camera and crying at the same time, that's golden.
That was
that's
good. Matter of fact, it was so good. I think they undercut it when they went back to her again. They should have just left it at that. Just that first scene when she was crying and doing, because I thought the same thing. I said, "Oh, this is good," because that told you everything you need to know about that story. She don't want to fight.
Yes.
He still wants to fight. He still wants to be a celebrity. She doesn't want it, and then you just move on.
Yeah. The Smashing Machine.
Yeah.
Interesting title too.
Yeah.
So I'm interested. It's A24, so I kind of know, like you were saying with the style cinema verite, what to expect.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the marketing, this is a B plus. I mean, the brand. So marketing is about recognition. A24. That's the first thing you saw, right? It went right into it. All this other stuff we saw, United Artists, all this other crap, the greens. No, we went straight into A24. So they got the branding out the way, so this is gonna be quality. So they already kind of, and then they got right into a scene of The Rock interacting with the fan, and he wasn't The Rock, right? It was just so clear that. Matter of fact, you wouldn't even know that was The Rock. It was that good, and so that's probably was the best time he played that character. So I think they wanted to show you that. So now you're intrigued right away. So marketing 101, did you get my interest? Yes. Do you have social proof? Yes, because it's A24, And then now, do you build up desire? Yes, because the creative elements start to come in. So I think it's a B plus from a marketing standpoint.
Yeah, I'll give it a. It's not super drawing me in, which is where I make the A call. So yeah, I'm in the B range somewhere. Almost want to say a straight B or no B plus. I'll give it a B plus. Definitely a B plus. Um, because I feel like it'll be good, but it just didn't have that draw for me. Something's not drawing me into it. Like when it seems very well made too, because like right when they start out, they immediately go from the title, The Smashing Machine, to a scene with an old lady and a little kid, and it kind of sets you off kilter. You're like, okay, what's this about? So even from the trailer and how it's laid out and the styling, it's all very well done. But I'm struggling like this because I almost want to give it an A, but B plus.
Okay. Yeah, I think we both get B plus. Who knew that Emily Blunt and Dwayne The Rock Johnson have chemistry together? Because this is the second movie they play romantic partners. After neither of them, Beyonce, any of their movies really play well with anybody else in a romantic sense. So it's kind of interesting. I don't know if you saw The Jungle Cruise. Did you ever see that movie? It came on Disney Plus.
No.
Yeah, it came out during the pandemic, and he played a captain, and she played the. And I was wondering, are they going to kiss at the end? They did. I said, okay, it wasn't too bad. So who knew they had some chemistry together? Because I can't. Can you name any movie where The Rock was in that he had a romantic partner?
Yeah.
So yeah. So it's interesting. Some actors can do it. Some actors can't. So we'll see if this works for them.
Yeah, I was trying to find out if Dwayne Johnson was still being managed by his ex-wife, Dany Garcia.
Yes, that's interesting.
Because if that's one of those deterrents to female foolishness is having a bodybuilder female as your manager. She'll come grab you by the hair and swing you around and out the window.
That's funny. That's funny. I mean, I'm going to his Wikipedia page. It's one of the longest I've ever seen, Mr. Benja. I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just clicked through. I was like, dang, they got to go into all the stuff he did in football, all the stuff he did in wrestling. So it's just a lot known about him. But yeah, personal life. Let's see here. Relationships. Dany Garcia. Yeah. And then he's no longer with her. They filed for they've not been married since 2008. So yeah.
Yeah, but I thought she was managing him for a while after. I didn't know.
They're business partners. Yeah, they're still.
Yeah.
I think they're still business partners. So that's kind of what's going on there. So sure, you're right. That's a good point. Yeah, but they were together about 6 years, 7 years, and he moved on. So yeah, he's just The Rock, man. He's doing this thing, man. So we'll see. So it's like all these actors, man. Look, when they first get the money, then go get the Oscar.
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. did it, right? He got his money. Then he took a year, 2 years off, did Oppenheimer, got his Oscar. Guess what? He's back in the MCU, baby. So, that's what you do. Get the money.
Hi, this is the studio calling. There's a large sack of cash here, and it's addressed to you. So I don't know how it got here, but we'd like to have you take it home. Just saying.
Got it. I'm there for it, man. I'm there for it. So yeah. So we both gave it B plus as we're starting to do this whole grading system, guys, for the trailers from the business side and from the show side. So
yeah, not the quality of the movie.
Yeah, we have no idea. This could be trash
or gold.
Yeah, or gold. Yeah, but it could be trash.
Man, A24 released a stanker.
Hey, it's happened before. Just because A24 don't mean they can't do no stankers. So anyway, Mr. Benja, man, this has been a great episode. Anything else going on for you this week?
Nothing much, man. Not being angry, as I said. So
yeah, man, don't do that, man. Don't be that. Don't be angry.
No, I'm in touch with my angry side. Don't worry about me.
in touch. Good.
High ground or not, I don't care.
Hey, tell them what you feeling, man. Let them know.
I hate you. Not you, but
oh, I told you what. Yeah, I told you what I had to do. Well, we'll talk about it later. My son, when that scene came on, I said, "Hey, son, look at me. I hate you." Wow, he turns burned up, legs all out. Yeah, it's too much, man. It's too much. So anyway, yeah, man. This week just grinding some more. Next week I might take some vacation time, but this week just grinding and then trying to round out the week. So yeah, man, this is the life we chose, so can't complain. So it is what it is.
Yes, absolutely.
This life I chose, so I'm going to keep grinding and do what I do. So yeah, so excited about that. Well, everyone, thank you for your time. We're going to end it here. Please like, subscribe, and comment at Show vs. Business on X, Threads, YouTube, and Instagram. Listen to us at Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Visit us on our website at Show vs. Business. All right, Mr. Benja.
Peace.